Welcome back, everyone. We are on our last 2 pages. I can't believe it. Time has gone so fast. But this page, there's not too many cuts, even though it looks very intricate. So let's get started. I just realized that A and B are the same, so I could have just said cut 2 A's, but I'll hold them up here. You need 2 pieces that are 8.5 by 7 7/8. And again, 7 7/8 is 2 lines before 8. So you need 2 of those. 1 C flap. I already cut this just to double check that it fit, but I will show you that. It is 8 3/4 by 8 3/4, and we're going to be cutting that at an angle. So what you do when you get to this one is you put your piece in here, and you got to be careful to line up this point on this line. So sometimes when you're focusing on here, this side gets off a little bit, but just take your time, play around with it, and make sure these 2 points, 2 angles of this piece are on the line, and then you're cutting it straight down the middle, and you will wind up with 2 triangles. And then D is a pocket, which we've done a lot of times before. That's 8 7/8 by 5. So let's get these scored. So the A and B flap, you're going to score with the 8.5 inch side facing up. So you just double check that. So you score that at 1/2 inch. And same with the other piece. Okay, so C, we cut our angle, and then we want to do 1/2 inch on each side. Just make sure this lines up. Usually most scoreboards have a line right there. Okay, so there is our right angle. And D is a pocket, so we want the opening, which is our longest side, to start at the top. And just score on 3 sides. That's okay. Okay. And we'll tape those. I believe I did this already, but yeah. You tape right below your score lines, right here. And we'll do this one together. You may need to hit pause because I did some of this ahead of time. The angle was a little tricky, so I had to play around with it a little bit. If you printed out your cut sheet before September 18th, it'll say 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. I mean the 18th. So after the 18th, it'll be the correct measurement, which is 8 3/4 by 8 3/4. So just double check that. And I have always, I put the total, the whole cut list on the project share or walkthrough, and then each video has whatever I'm working on. I also put that section under the description. So this is page 7, and it'll have the page 7 cut list. Okay, so we're gonna just cut off the excess tape here. Okay. When we fold this over, there's going to be a little piece to cut off too. So let's take our bone folder and press this down. So what I was saying, when you fold this over, and you'll do that over here also. Actually, before we fold that over, let's cut that corner. Just like we do our pocket pages. Go up to the intersection line and then turn it and continue on. Okay, so when we fold this, you'll notice that there's these two pieces here hanging out, and you just cut those. We'll do the same thing to our other angle. Cut this piece off, and we will have an angled pocket. Okay, so the pocket D flap, you do the same thing. You go up to that line and turn and cut. Same over here. I just want to make sure I got that right. And then we'll fold that. Okay, so what I'm going to do before I have my pocket page. This is the last one. The openings are to the left and right. I got my page numbered at the top. But I'm going to set that aside for a minute and take either the A or the B. It doesn't matter which one. But the first one is going to be, so let's just say A. But whichever one is going to be the one, the right-hand pocket. So it'll be put down on this side. So we want to take one of our angles and put it like this, where the opening is this way. So here's the pocket. Okay, so here's my fold line that's taped, and I'm gonna take the backing off of here and carefully put it on this side. And that'll hold that down. All right, so I'm going to face this towards me so I can see what I'm doing, but I want my angle, I'm going to put it right in the corner, and I'm going to leave a little bit of room at this angle so that this flap can fold back and forth. So right above that score line. Yeah. All right, so you will notice you have a little bit of space over here and over here, which is what I want. So that'll look good. And we'll do the same to the other side. Now the other side is going to be on the left-hand side, and that angled pocket is going to go over here. So let's take off our backing. Put this towards me and line this up. So I've got my angle over here, and I want this to go above that score line. Whoops. It's above the score line, but I want it to go flush with the side. So let's see. see how that looks. All right, I'm closer to the score line over here than over here, so since I didn't really press it down, I'm going to move this a little bit. It's a tough one to lay down, but let's see. There, nice and even. Okay. So let's press this down now that we're happy with it. Okay, so I'm going to bring out my pocket page and let's put the right hand one on first. Okay, turn it towards me. So I've got a little bit of a space, like a 16th at the top and bottom. I'm going to gently put this down. My thumbs are guiding it. And it's flush with the right hand side of this pocket page. Okay, looks good. And then we will do the B flap. Make sure you can see. All right, so when I put this down, before I stick it actually, I want to make sure, that's where it would be, that I have enough room over here. And that all depends on how well I stuck down that side. So I want a little bit of space between this pocket and this crease, just so this can fold over. So I have to make sure that fits, and I'm going to look down here. This crease is right there. I might just take a little bit off just to be sure. You may not have to, but I'm just going to be extra careful here. All right, mine looked awfully close. So see how yours does. Okay, there. So now I have just a little bit of space right here, and that will allow this to go over. Okay, so when we're happy, let's press it all down. Make sure it's on there, there's no bubbles. There. Okay, and then the pocket goes in here last. So this is our D. We'll take off the bottom. And then let's line it up so that we just have a little bit of space between those fold lines, which we do. And then we'll just guide it down here and right flush with the bottom. It's got a little bit of space over here, a little bit over there. And when I like the way that looks, I can take off my tape backing. And there we go. So that's not too bad. So let's figure out where we want our magnets and how thick we want them. Looking here, I might just, let's bring out the big ones. We got small magnets, we're gonna use those, but I think this page is gonna need the big, stronger ones in this corner. So right here you can see that that's a little heavy, and even when there's no magnet, this side lifts up. So I'm going to put a big one right here and a smaller one up there. I always have a packet of big ones because every once in a while you need them. If you have a thick page or something that just needs a little extra hold. And I'm going to use the bigger tape. And then we'll fold it over. So this right hand flap is going to be on top. So if I want a small magnet, I'm going to have to put it a little lower than I normally would. Like normally I'd have it up in this corner. I got to make it a little lower so it lands right there in that corner. I mean, you might not even need it because this is holding it down pretty well. But I'm going to go ahead and put a small one, maybe an inch from the top. Let's see. So right around there, and let me just test it out before I tape it down. I want to look here and see where it would land, and it lands right in that corner. So I've got to get it a little closer. Yeah, that's why you always look and make sure before you tape it down. Even if you do, it's not the end of the world. You can use the undo. So I moved it a little closer to the edge. Let's see where that puts us. Puts me right there. And that looks good, so I will go ahead and put my negative. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so now I can tape this down. And I'm going to use the 1/4 inch tape for this. You can either use the 3/8 or the 1/4 inch. There we go. So now we've got to do the same thing over here and just put a big one right there. And if you just put basic gray magnets in your search engine, it'll come up all the different places that sell these. And like I said, you don't have to use this brand. You could use other ones, but they have these big ones. I'm not sure who else does. But I don't use them that often, so one pack will last you at least several projects. Okay, put that down. Okay, so let's see how this goes. All right. this is actually staying down pretty well. So I think I'm just gonna leave that alone. Yeah, because I'm gonna have, that's a good, and then this will be on top of it. So I think you don't necessarily need one. That's up to your personal preference. They cost money, so if if you don't think it's necessary, you don't need to put one here. See how you go. Let's just see. The only thing I'm thinking of is if this folds over and I got extra paper here, I don't want that to get bent. So I may do it, but that again is up to you because it does stay down. And I'm just gonna do it because I don't want anything to happen later with folding papers, getting their edges all wrinkled up. We didn't use too many on this layout, so boy. This packet has been giving me trouble. And it feels thicker. I think there's 2 pieces of plastic there. That's what it looks like. Okay. Put that there. Okie doke. We are done here. So I will show you which papers I chose to decorate this. And I made a booklet also that I could give you the measurements for. So page 7, I used this rust, like this rippled rust on the front, on the corner. It just looked good on that corner pocket. And on the inside, there was a sheet with numbers on them. So I used that. For the pockets, now, like I said, this one has a magnet here. Because this is an angled pocket, I think you should put a magnet, right here. It winds up being like right around here, put something so that whatever booklet you decide to make, you can put it in there, press it down, and then the magnet will go here and it won't fly around since this is at an angle. So definitely put a magnet somewhere right around the middle. Okay, and then this I used, looks like I took a 12-inch piece of paper by 4 3/4 with 4 1/2. Yeah, 4 1/2 by 12, and so it needs a little extra piece. So let me show you. I've got the 12 inches takes me up to right here. And so then you would cut another piece. Let me just get this right. 12 inches takes you up to here. And then you need another piece that is 6 3/4. You score it a 1/2 inch. And then your total, would be the 12 plus your 6 1/4. So the total is 18 1/4. Is it a quarter or is it a half? Let me see. I've got 12 and then 6 1/4. Yeah. So then it winds up being a nice long piece. And I put a magnet right here, which lands over here. And the reason why I like this size piece, and when it's all folded, it's 7 5/8, a little shy of 7 3/4, a little more than 7 1/2, and that fits right into there and holds everything in. And then I chose there will be a piece that has this buckle on it, so make sure to try to save that because I think that looks good on this. Okay, and then when you open it up, it's the same rippled paper over here. And then for this, what do I do? So I cut this piece. This is 10 3/8, so 2 lines past the 10 1/4 by 7 1/4, and made a fold here at 1 3/8, and another fold right here. And basically I just put a pencil, I just looked at this and folded it and made a pencil mark where I needed to put a fold. But that fold is 4 3/8 from the bottom. You put a little square line, and the 3/8 is it just wound up that way, but it's 2 lines before 4 1/2, and that way it lands before this fold line. But just play around with it, and I just decided to make it like a wallet looking thing. I have 2 magnets here on the ends, and you can just play around with that measurement. And again, I put a magnet on the back here that goes with this. This long wallet kind of holds everything in place, and this magnet holds that down. And then just a couple little booklets on the inside. So here's this is from the Craft Consortium. This is a leftover piece of that numbered paper, and this is leftover from when I did the angles that I made a booklet out of. And then this one. So that was it for that. And the pullout had the numbered paper here too. So next video will be our last page. I get kind of teary at the end, but we are almost finished, and this book just is going to be great. So come back soon and we will do page 8 together.